good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Good to be talking to you again, Zach. How you going, mate?
Good. You can't see my big arm gestures, but I was doing them to get in the mood. Maybe you can hear them in my voice now. Just like punching shadow boxing, boxing the shadows.
Good, eh?
Dabbing, is that still something that people do? Probably not. I'm good. How are you?
They do it ironically now, I think. They dab ironically. I'm good. It's a funny thing. When I'm talking to you doing this show, I actually don't move my arms at all. They stay pretty still on the keyboard, on my cup of tea or water or whatever. When I'm doing my other show, which is scripted, I move my arms all the time, and I actually can't get it right unless I move my arms. It's so weird. But I come from a family
Maybe it's more
of
presentation format.
It might be something to do with that. Painting a picture with your body as well as your mind, and then when you stuff up, you go, well, come on, body, join me here, help me tell this story and get it right. But there's only one, this is famously like a one-take thing, so you have to get it right, or it has to be good enough.
Yeah, what people don't know is that we set a timer in the background and we say, you got to get it right. There's no reruns, no re-records, no redos.
See, that's all staying in. All of those flubs, they're all staying in.
Wow, way to call me out there on the flubs. That's so true.
The way it sounded like you didn't understand English there, that's all staying in. That's those things that the sounds phonetically sounded like words, but it wasn't. Phonetically is not even a word either. See, well, Zach, this week Shakedown. This is Shakedown number 11, not two. It's legs 11, two thin ladies. We don't have a race to talk about. That means that we've got a plethora of other directions, options, and things that we can talk about. We've got the customary and trademarked Shakedown poll that we can cover. We've got some news items that we can talk about. We've got a lot of just miscellaneous debris that we can talk about. And probably content recommendations later if you've got some. You've probably got an interesting book about running, or a movie about running, or a dream you had about running, something to do with running.
Shut up. I'm more than that. I'm a fully constructed human being with thoughts, emotions, and many facets. I'm not just a running boy, okay? I'm not Forrest Gump. Even that film was about the many facets of a man. It's
also about running, dude.
Yeah, it's running. They should have just called it Running Dude.
Yeah. Am I looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger? Because I feel like I'm talking to the Running Man.
I haven't seen that. Well, this all sounds like a fun show. Do you want to tell? Why don't we start?
Marathon Man.
Yeah. Why don't we start with the quiz? The quiz, not the quiz. The poll.
Shakedown poll this week. It's got a Halloween theme, and the question that you're wanting. This is on Twitter, by the way, on twitter.com. You might have heard of it. Twitter.com's hashtag Shakedown poll. What percentage of current F1 drivers have seen a ghost? Now, your options. I put in 3 options. I usually go for 2, just to keep it easy. But this week, I had to allow for the 0% option just to, I don't know, I feel like that needs to be represented. So one option is 0%. One option is between 1% and 50% of the current grid of F1 drivers have seen a ghost, or 51 to 100% of current F1 drivers have seen a ghost. Zach, where would your vote fall in this poll?
I think 51 to 100%. I've got reasons why, but do you want me to leave them until the end?
No, definitely leave them until the end, because we'll wait till the end. We'll reveal what our listeners and followers have voted, and then you can justify your answer. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is amazing. What a tease. Well, Shakedown poll covered. Tick. What's next on the agenda? Do you want to cover some news?
Let's do some news. What
Stories.
do we talk about?
They're not even really news. There's the news, like every F1 podcast does news, but we do news like super license style. This is like factoids and tidbits, and this is like
the flotsam
issues.
and jetsam of the F1
Exactly.
world. It's the comings and goings, the wheres and what fors. Sprint racing, Rod, how do you feel? Good. We've had a few now because, Ross Brawn and the rest of the F1 cabal are like, what, maybe we could have 6 sprint races next year to go with our 50 regular races. And then, but we're not happy with the format still. So get ready, guys, because 6 sprint races next year, and they could all have all different formats. We could see reverse grids for the sprint races. We could see maybe they don't talk about handing out fake pole, maybe no points. Who knows? But
fake pole. I love that.
They said that we, in principle, agreed. Braun has said, we're in principle, we've agreed that the teams are we're gonna look towards 6 sprint races next year. We've got to sort out a lot of stuff because we've got new cars and stuff coming along. But don't worry about that because it's going to be super exciting. How do you feel about 6 sprint races?
boy, I wouldn't want it to be any more than that. Especially, and I've said, I'm not per se against sprint races, but the format of the weekend and the flow of the weekend has got to be sorted out, and they're just not there yet. So I'm not anti-sprint races. I'm not. But I think there's still improvement to be done. Hopefully, though, we get through this 6 and it becomes very obvious what needs to be done, and they do it. That'd be nice.
Doesn't that just a lovely thing to say? To get through this thing that we love. Just got to get through.
We survive. We put up with them.
Get through Formula One. Another race to get through.
Tolerate them.
Russia. Well, speaking of getting through race weekends and getting formats right, you think the race weekend needs a format? Maybe not a reshuffle, but maybe a little bit more thought and effort put into it. Well, that's exactly what F1's thinking about, especially on Fridays, because we're going to squish all the practice sessions into the afternoons, get rid of Thursday, make F1 a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to run, they say. But because we've got interesting new parts and cars and all that kind of stuff next year, they want, F1 and Liberty Media want the teams and journalists to come together in a session every Friday and talk through their cars and talk through the engineering changes, all the stuff that, is going to help the F1 audience understand in a bit more detail how these things work, possible advantages and disadvantages every weekend. Do you think this is something you'd be interested in seeing more of, or do you feel like you don't get enough F1 engineering chat?
Could be interesting to a degree. I don't know that teams will be very open to giving away their flaws and weaknesses every week in, week out. That's they're dreaming if they think that's going to happen. But I think that it needs to also be inside a package that's entertaining and digestible. If it's completely dry rubbish, then it's like, who's it for? Like, we're trying to grow the sport here or turn people off?
More like dry to survive.
Dry to survive. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about what people think about the sport, Zach. Did you see that the thing? I did tweet this out. I pulled out this quote, and I just don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or not. Yeah, but anyway, there was this global F1 survey that happened. 167,000 participants took place. Ooh. And accordingly, this is a quote from the article that I read, just 6.7% of respondents agreed that the introduction of sprint races has improved the show. That really surprised me, because even though I would say, I would argue that sprint races have improved the show, so I would be among those 6.7% of respondents, but it's with a caveat that you have to change some other things about the show as well. But, I just thought that was really interesting. And then obviously we're committed now to doing it. So there's going to be more of them. There's a lot of things that we could change about the weekend, how we present the sport, what we do, what we don't do, what order we do it in, blah, 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 blah. But I just think it's important that we don't just do stuff for the sake of doing it. We've got to think it through, make sure it's for somebody, make sure it's for an audience. If we're trying to find a new audience, build a new audience, great, let's do that. Let's just make sure we get it right.
Yeah, it's difficult, with experimenting in Formula One because it's such a set amount of opportunities, right? It's not really easy to try things. You haven't got any other, I suppose you kind of have other leagues or other championships you could try things on, but then none of Formula One stands uniquely in the world as a sport. So I would say that the way they're trying sprint races is actually the right way to do it. 3 this year. The format is not too disruptive. I don't think it's deciding championships or anything like that. It's actually been a relatively good time to try it. 6 next year, the teams are more familiar. They understand the cut and thrusts, and the advantages and disadvantages are pushing quite hard. I would say if you were to tell me that, okay, this is how we're going to roll this out and test it, I'd agree with that plan. I think that's the right way to do it, as opposed to just coming in and being like, hey, so every weekend is a sprint race now. We're just going to work out the formula as we go. That would be insane. We've had that with qualifying before. It's like, cool, this is how qualifying works now. And then we got to, 1 or 2 races in with the knockout qualifying, and like, oh, actually, this is really shit and horrible. Let's get rid of that. So, yeah. And look, one point on that survey, I wonder if it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there, in that the cohort of people who would fill in the Formula One fan survey are also the people who quite like the way that Formula One is run already. If you're willing to go and fill in the fan survey, as opposed to just asking that one question of everybody who's involved, because the people I know, especially the newer fans, find the sprint stuff interesting, because it also changes the dynamic a bit on Friday, because you get qualifying on Friday, and that's a nice Friday night thing. for the people in Europe because, like, oh, yeah, there's a thing happening at 6. We could like watch that after work. Like it makes the whole. There are more interesting events over the weekend as opposed to just kind of a little bit of qualifying in the race.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't think sprint races. I don't think sprint races in and of themselves are the problem. It's more, how they fit into the weekend, and it feels like at the moment we're just trying to cram them in without really factoring it in.
Should we just have the sprint race between main race weekends? So we just have something Formula One related every weekend for the whole year.
Why don't we have a race every day?
Yeah, you know what? And why don't we fold the esports element in to Formula One so that every second race weekend we get a proper full Grand Prix weekend. Every off weekend we get the sprint race, and then every day we get some sort of e-race.
Well, I do agree to some degree with that we could do a lot more to coordinate the calendar. And I mean, there's been years where they were like, yep, Le Mans this weekend, but also so is Monaco. And it's like, oh, damn it. What the heck? Formula, I mean, I think it's appealing sometimes to be like, here's a Formula E race on a Saturday and here's a Formula One race on a Sunday. Sometimes that's nice. But also when you've got 2, maybe 3 weeks between F1 races, it's nice to have a little race, just something. Even if it's not your cup of tea, if you're really like thirsty for something, you got something to watch. That's also nice. A little bit of coordination across the formats would be a little bit better. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here to watch Formula One. Personally, I wouldn't necessarily be like, hey, there's some rally on this weekend. You want to just watch that for the sake of it? I'd be like, look, I have very limited spare time. I'm saving it all for Formula One. That would be my approach. But other people, their mileage may vary.
What if we instead go... and I've actually been thinking more about the Netflix CEO saying that if he'd had his time again, he might have bought Formula One. I wonder if we're going to go down... If we could go down this path of maybe reality show theme, think your Love Islands, think your Terrace House, think your Big Brothers, but not quite the same. But maybe we had an opportunity to do this in COVID, actually, where we could have put all the drivers in a bubble and it becomes more like a game show so that they all have to live together. They all have to manage their lives. You can imagine them all having to be in the same gym and kind of fight for the top bunk and all that kind of stuff. We'd see more of Valtteri Bottas's butt as he comes in and out of the sauna or shower bath. But really, just turn the whole thing into a very specific and we could just watch it 24/7, right? The cameras are always on. And that way, we get our Formula One fill any time of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I feel like every week, more or less, you come up with a new way that you like. Formula One drivers also have to be this. As well as being like elite athletes and incredible
they're celebrities.
Drivers, they also have to dress like fashion models and designers themselves. No boring clothes allowed. Plus, they have to be ready-made reality TV stars, ready to go with their personas all worked out. We'll edit, to their
find the
strengths and
personas for them.
weaknesses. Yeah, sure, exactly.
I want to host the After Dark show, me and you.
That's essentially what we already do.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's also interesting that you brought up Drive to Survive and Netflix and all that rest of it, because that did come up with the discussion of this fan survey that I'm talking about. There's quotes saying, Drive to Survive Netflix documentary definitely brought people, new fans, especially in the United States, to the sport. So I just feel like, I wonder whether the time is ready now for huge wholesale changes, or whether the time is right now for just packaging up what's great about Formula One and just delivering it to those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. Do you want me to give you one more?
Little both.
Yeah. Can I give you one more little racing anecdote from what happened on my last weekend? In the past week, I caught a little bit of the Extreme E, electronic four-wheel driving on racing kind of thing. It's interesting. I can't really see the track. It's hard to know where they're driving because it's like, the desert or bushland, stuff like that. It's very
extreme. Is it one
extreme.
of those things where it's like not a circuit as much as it is just you go from that point to that point?
Like a course. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's more like rally in that sense. But it's like incredible as far as like how fast they drive. And when they show like the onboard camera, you're like, how are you doing all of this? It's so like high pace, Really like incredible. And then I also learnt that the team of Molly Taylor and Johan Kristoffersen are currently winning the championship. Winning the standings of this weekend, something like that. Anyway, Molly Taylor is Australian. She's a rally car driver from Sydney. So we got great races everywhere, mate. They're everywhere.
How about that? Just dominating.
And was born 19 days before I was.
She was.
Molly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, are you thinking of inviting her to your birthday next year?
Oh, well, she might have a race on. And maybe...
Yeah, that's the excuse I would use too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, look, I would love to invite you, but you've got more important things to do. So, do it for Australia. Go you good thing, put a gap in them.
That's right, exactly. Last thing I wanted to pull out from this this fan survey about the drivers was F1's most popular driver. Do you happen to remember off the top of your head, or if you saw any stories, who was F1's most popular driver?
I don't remember. I'm going to say Lando Norris.
He finished second, I think. Ahead of
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, Max Verstappen, number one, most popular driver. Lando Norris, and then third, former winner 4 years ago, Lewis Hamilton, most popular driver. Kimi Räikkönen, way down there. I think he's just about to fall out of the top 10. Maybe fans are just like, they already know, like he's on the way out. We would follow you if you had a few good years ahead of you, but no. I was surprised.
Max on the grid, mate. If he turned up in cooler clothes and shit, maybe people would find him more culturally important.
Man. If you had a better crafted personality, like maybe if you got like some kind of a PR person to help him, that's what he needs.
Why hasn't he launched like a vodka or something that comes in a like a helmet bottle?
We're gonna have to play the Google game. Kimi Räikkönen vodka or something.
Also, I'm feeling lucky. Do they still have that
something? First hit is a YouTube video. Mark Webber thinks Kimi Räikkönen is drinking vodka. I guess that's a funny joke that Mark Webber, Mr. Personality, South Africa's favorite comedian, is promoting. Kimi promotes new Iceman long drink. Does that sound better?
Oh, that sounds more like it.
Let's see what the date is on this. This is the problem. I got no dates.
2008.
Oh, no, this is maybe from 6 years ago, but anyway.
Which in my mind is 2008, but it's actually 2016 or something, which seems impossible.
Maybe I need to go to news. Actually, I gave up using Google a while ago as well.
You're on the DuckDuckGo's, I'm guessing.
Here we go. Raikkonen launches into expletive fuel tirade against Alfa Romeo. Actually, no, this isn't what we want either. Went into that. I mean, I knew that wasn't about what you were talking about. I just thought it was funny. No, I don't know, man. I don't think he drinks alcohol. I think you think of someone else.
Yeah, maybe it's too gauche. Maybe it would be it would be cooler if he came out with a no alcohol vodka that was just
I mean,
the Iceman and it's just all ice.
He doesn't drink alcohol the way you or I do. Someone who drinks alcohol 24 hours a day that's not really drinking alcohol anymore. That's just like surviving. It's like breathing for him, really.
Just living.
Well, anyway, look, there's lots of other things that we could talk about. So maybe we park the news there for another time. One thing I wanted to shout out was a big thank you to Twitter user Jamesis, who last week on the show we pointed out it'd be awesome if someone made like a super license GIF animation of like a sort of like a ripoff of the old DVD menu where it was our logo bouncing around the screen and whatever. But yeah, user Jamesis, I'd
throw you a rope, but I can't help you.
Yeah, don't know. But Gem ISIS one. You can follow, go to at Super License. We retweeted it. Sent us a great animation of an F1 car, and it's got our logo, like our helmet logo, and that logo. That person's also driving the car, and our name's on the side, and our names bounce around the screen and stuff. And it's, I was impressed, and it made my day. So thank you very much for sending that through. That was cool.
Same. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Very good. Good stuff. What else is kicking around? Oh, there was something else that I was going to call out. Let me just find it.
Okay.
Speaking about things that we talked about on previous shows, first of all, in the Discord, remember that? We have a Discord. Tom Corvid said that we did a great quiz last week. I think that was the NASCAR quiz that you did. Very good. He liked that one. And also, XR Brigade, Zerbrigade, X-Verbrigade. I think I said that I was talking about a Palmer, and then you were like, oh, yeah, I want a Palmer too. And then XR Brigade said, yep, as an Australian living in a very rural part of Canada, Newfoundland, he's also been craving a Parma. He or she, I think it's he, has also been craving a Parma. Yes, exactly. Parma's all around for everybody, I say. So if we prompted you to want a Parma as well, please let us know. You can tweet us at Superlicense. You can send us an email at superlicencepodcast@gmail.com, or just jump in the Discord and just say, Parma me. A few more things that we're going to get through today then. Exactly. We can round off the Twitter poll. We can talk a little bit more crap, or we can get into content recommendations. Zach, it is dealer's choice, by which I mean it's your
Twitter poll.
Choice.
Poll.
Twitter poll. Okay. Now you said that you would bank on, we should recap it. It's hashtag Twitter poll. What percentage of current F1 drivers have seen a ghost? 0%, 1 to 50%, or 51 to 100%. Let me just see what the results were. Oh boy, this is closer than I thought. On 29.2%, 51 to 100%, no more than 100%. On 33.3% of the vote, exactly one third, between 1 and 50%. And out in the lead at the moment, 37.5% of the vote is going to 0% of the drivers currently having seen a ghost. Now, Zach, I'm reliably informed. You have an interesting story about why you think drivers might have seen some ghosts. Lay it on me, bro.
They've all seen the ghost of Sebastian Vettel's F1 career, mate. All of them. Even him. On the grid. They all seen it driving around the ghost of his career. Remember, guys? And you might even throw in Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso's ghosts. There's a lot of ghosts driving around every weekend, I would say. Reminding everyone how good they were. You're having a moan, having a whinge. When really we just need to give up the ghost on those.
You didn't go with like, the pit window ghost. Like if you pit, then you'll be back here. Then that's the ghost. You didn't even go with that. Just no, literally, Sebastian Vettel's a bit crap.
Yep. Yeah, that was my thing. There we go. Ooh, you come to me for the hot takes. On him. Yeah, well, I do. That's true. That's what I signed up for. Fans are going to be so annoyed.
We just check our stats and it's like Germany. Oh, there's no one listening in Germany anymore. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well, we knew that. They stopped. Remember, they had to only have one German Grand Prix every 2 years. Because,
that's true.
And it's only surviving now because, well, all the Dutch fans just go over. It's the closest race for all of them. So, you know, those Verstappen fans are keeping half of the European races alive.
There you go. So they're like the sales in Germany start to spike and they're like, oh yeah, Vettel, we can't let him go. And they're like, no, it's actually Verstappen fans who've all just got like camper vans and they're all heading over. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're all working remotely and they're all just going to all the Formula One races. Working remotely? You think they're working? Like they go, check it out on a Thursday, but I'm still answering emails. Oh yeah. You didn't set your away message. No, I don't need to. I'm still logging in. Change the Slack message. All they're doing, their Slack little icon notification just changes to slow to reply. That's all. They'll still get to you, but just slower than usual. So good. Great. Well, I mean, I would have voted 0% myself in this quiz, but you know, that's me. I mean, just get too scared. That's the whole reason why. There's a slim chance that this episode will go out while this poll is still live. So if this result has absolutely outraged you, please, you and your friends and all your family, get in the group chats, get on the Slacks, get in the newsletters that you run, and just spread the word that people have got to change this result, get that number right up. But right now, it's on 0%. Rough. Rod, have you got a content recommendation for me? I do. I have a circuitous story to go along with it as well. If you want. Great. That's what the podcast's about. It's very self-indulgent, but anyway, I'll press on. We're on the Halloween bent as well. I did send you in the Slack a message. I don't know how you would describe this message, but basically I said to you, hey, look, check out this thing that I saw, which is someone doing a Halloween costume of a character from a show that I'll talk about in a sec. But look at the posters on the wall. And I look at the posters on the wall, and it's a music-inspired poster. The idea is it's like a band name and an album title, and then the main content of the poster, the body of the poster. It's not about a toaster. Forget that. Forget I even said toaster. Just get toasters out of your mind. Forget baking bread until it's crisp and brown. Forget that. Think poster. Think music poster. White background. And then up and down, 2 columns of little sound waves, which represent the songs, evenly spaced. And I said to you, does that look familiar? And you were like, oh my goodness. Because I designed a poster exactly like that and sent it to you as a Christmas gift last year of one of your favorite albums. And I couldn't believe it because as far as I was concerned, that was an original idea, design, execution. And then boom, it just randomly pops up on some like random guy's walls. Like I couldn't believe it. It's exactly the same.
I know it is exactly the same. It's incredible.
There's no original ideas, I tell you. Or someone is just following me around, stealing all of my best ideas before I can fully execute them. It's just not on.
Good albums. Currents. And Is This
by
It?
Tame Impala, is it?
Yeah, Tame Impala's Currents and Is This It?
And then is there
Strokes,
another
right?
one? Is
But
This It by the
there's one
Strokes,
behind
of course.
Yeah.
Can't see. I'm looking at the sound waves, but I can't quite make it as a loud song.
But
then there's a slightly less loud song, and then there's 4 very loud songs.
But I reckon in that vein, it's probably like if you go Strokes and you're coming out at Tame Impala, I reckon you're maybe in Arctic Monkeys in the middle there, probably. Ooh. Something like that.
Yeah. Could be Fratellis maybe, or who else could it be? I'm trying to think. We just rattled off about a dozen band names. You and me.
I don't know. War on Drugs.
War on Drugs. Sure, okay. Could be Local Natives. It could be anybody. Yeah. Anyway, what was the whole point of that? Well, the point of it was a content recommendation. So obviously the Halloween costume in question isn't, it's not going to mean anything to you unless you've seen the show, but it's a character from the television show I Think You Should Leave. And I think I have mentioned the first season, but obviously since then season 2's come out. Now, I've recommended this show to people before, and their feedback was that show's no good. But I'm here to offer my rebuttal.
They don't know you at all.
Exactly, they don't. First of all, they don't know what's funny, and I do. That's they should listen to me and when I tell them something's funny, they should just go, you're right, Rodney, and then just accept it. No. People have tried this show and they said it's not funny. The reason it's not funny is it's the same joke over and over again, that's not even entirely invalid. But my thing is, first of all, there's 6 episodes and they're sub 20 minutes. Most of them are below 20 minutes. So it's not a huge investment of your time to watch the whole series, but just watch 1 or 2 and see if you like it. Also, every second sketch, I just think, is incredible and something that I've never seen before. So I think it's worth taking a chance on for that. And you'll find those little nuggets, and then you can follow Twitter accounts and understand, jokes that people are making, and it's a good time. So my recommendation is season 2 of I Think You Should Leave. In particular, then once you've watched the show, you can go back through Twitter and look at all the Halloween costumes, people dressing up as characters from the show, and it's a good time.
It's great. Rod's watched so much comedy that if he hasn't seen it, if he hasn't seen the sketch, then it's pretty unique. So take that recommendation on board. Just trust him. Just lean in. Just lean in.
Have you got anything that you're consuming or have consumed that you're a fan of?
I got 2.
Okay.
Actually, kind of got 3, but
just don't use them all up and then next time go, I've got nothing.
Yeah, but they go in descending order of recommended to stay away from.
Great. Okay, I love it.
So, first one, and they're all Halloween themed, even though we're kind of post-Halloween right now. We're Christmas. It's Christmas now. Well done, everybody. We made it. The first one is Frankenstein, the book. I haven't read a lot of horror before. Yep. I think you can pick it up for free. Of course. It's written by, I'm just going to pull it up, Mary Shelley.
Usually.
There you are. Yep, usually. That's the one. Frankenstein or The Modern Prometheus. You can pick it up for free, whatever you want.
It's around Google free, download Frankenstein. It's right there because it's in the public domain.
Exactly. I'm only a third of the way through it. I really like it so far. It's really beautifully written. The prose is outstanding. The point of view as well. The intro, I was kind of lost. The intro, I was like, this doesn't seem like it's about Dr. Frankenstein. Who is this person who's exploring the Arctic on a boat? I don't understand all of these letters and all that kind of stuff. But it's a bit like Heart of Darkness, where it's it's a story told to them by someone else about their lives, which is a really fun point of view. And it's great. It's really beautifully written, as I said. It's exciting and interesting because it's kind of got that. It's from the point of view of someone running diary entries and kind of telling the story of their lives. And I highly recommend it. It's not too scary just yet, but you know what? It's got all the mystery about it that I really like and enjoy. And because you kind of know about Frankenstein's monster, right? And so you're like, we'll get to the monstery bit. But that's all the bit you know. And it's a story that's been retold so many different times.
Importantly, Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, not the monster. That's, that's the takeaway.
That's the takeaway.
Unless I am mistaken, Mary Shelley, I think, wrote this, or wrote the early, like the, what would you call it? The sort of rough draft version of it over like a weekend or something, because she was part of like, it was like a group of people all together and like, wouldn't it be funny this weekend if we all just sort of wrote a book? And they were like, okay. So she went off and wrote what became Frankenstein, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Something
That's
like that.
amazing. See, you can do it, guys. You can do it.
You can do it. Forget NaNoWriMo. Nano Weekend Mo.
Yeah. No, today.
Where's the story-o? What's the go-o?
Right in the middle here. In my, it's okay.
This is a
recommendation.
lukewarm, like Goldilocks.
Yeah,
This is the opposite
yeah.
of Goldilocks. The two, the good and the bad are the ones you want. Like you
Yeah.
ignore the one you should ignore, check out the one you should check out, and in the middle, just whatever. It's up to you.
Yeah. This is a film called Till Death, because Amber and I were looking for something scary, but I didn't want supernatural. This was over the weekend, the Halloween weekend, because I get really scared from supernatural stuff. It really freaks me out. My imagination runs away with me. And then I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be too scared to get out of the bed because I might see a reflection in the mirror that's definitely going to not just murder me, but like turn me into something bad or something, like just be horrible. So instead I wanted something psychological thrillery. And so we settled on Till Death, which I don't know why we settled on this, but I think Amber, my partner, was just Googling like fun but kind of scary Netflix films. So this stars Megan Fox, and this
is this year.
Yeah, this came out this year. Yes.
Wow.
It feels like something that would be on the Flophouse, like, you know, bad movie or a good bad movie, whatever you want to call it. The premise is her husband takes her out to a cabin that they like used to go out to when they were first in love, and they have a lovely romantic night. In the morning she wakes up, she's handcuffed to him, and he kills himself in front of her. And then she's handcuffed to his body though, in like the middle of nowhere. And then some people come to murder her. So that's fun and interesting, and it's just a fun premise because she's going to go to drag his body around the whole time, which is a fun little impediment for her.
She does
but
not
she's great.
cut his arm straight off?
Well, none of the tools are there. All the things you would think of, they've sorted all that for you, mate. Don't worry. Yeah, it's great. Like, it's all planned. Like, he planned the whole thing to be like this. So it's good. It wasn't outstanding. It was just good. It was just good. And it's the perfect role for Megan Fox. She's great in these circumstances. She's serious, but doesn't take herself too seriously, so she's a bit funny too.
Excellent.
I like her. I like her in this.
As if to back up your, this is not great but good, the IMDb rating is 5.8 out of 10. Like, that's straight down the middle.
It's bang on. It is just bang on. And visually it's good. So yeah, it's well made. It's also got Australian actor Callan Mulvey in it, who is
he Australian?
Actor. Yeah, he's in the mold of every single
course.
Australian man of the last 20 years in films.
Very much.
He looks like Chris Hemsworth. They all just look like this.
Who's that guy that was in Terminator? Who's that guy?
Arnold.
I'll think of him.
Something.
Australian guy. Arnold somebody, I forget, who played the Terminator. I don't remember. He was the Governor, but I can't remember his name.
He was the Governor. I can remember the Governor, but this Terminator.
Oh, goodness me. Fill for time while I Google this guy's name.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's funny because all of these, I think it's really easy to get all of these guys confused because they all just look kind of exactly the same. We're stuck in a world of, if you either look a bit like any of the famous Chris's, Pratt or otherwise, or you look like the Hemsworths, and there's three of them and they all look kind of the same. And then all the other, it's just the home and away mentality. Like, do you just kind of look like a rugged surfery bush guy? And now you're just an Australian who knows how to act. But you have weird range. Like, you can be kind of evil or you can be kind of good, but you're always going to look kind of rugged and have like a million-mile stare. So yeah. Wow. I hope you can't hear all of the sirens outside of my house right now. I don't really
I heard something there, but I wasn't hearing most of them before.
Did you find the name?
Oh, boy. Is everything okay? Absolutely not. Apparently, it's impossible to Google someone's name without knowing their name, so that's a shame. You know who I'm talking about, listener, the Australian guy who was in one of the Terminator films and then was in everything for a while, and he was dating another actress, maybe. Anyway, this guy is like the new version of him.
Yeah, exactly. Last not recommendation, do not waste your time on this. Midnight Mass. Another Netflix.
Oh, goodness me.
TV
I'm watching
series.
that right now.
Oh,
No spoilers,
really?
please. But how far?
Where are you up
how,
to?
Did you watch all of it? I'm 3
No.
episodes in.
Oh, fuck no. Are you joking? They go for an hour each, and 1.5 hours in, like 1 hour, first hour, first episode, nothing happens.
Right.
45 minutes into the second episode, still like, why do I care? It's like a fucking student play. Like every single person is like, I am on the stage. Here is my prop work. I am delivering my monologue to you. And the camera occasionally flicks to the person they're talking to, who is also making sad faces, or I'm interested but not kind of faces. Just nothing happens. It's so boring. And I mean, it just turns into because it's the same creator of, House on Haunting Hill or whatever.
I was going to
and
say that.
The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I liked those for different reasons. Like I thought they both had their strengths and weaknesses. House on Haunting Hill was so scary for me because it's full of jump supernatural scares, which I find scary.
Yeah, right.
And then House on Bly Manor is just the kind of, as they were saying, funnily enough on the Flophouse the other day, the kind of turning of the screw play story just replayed out. But this is what happened to J.K. Rowling after 3 hit Harry Potter books. Just like, okay, mate, you're obviously making these great TV shows for Netflix. Let's just let you do whatever the fuck you want. And it's so bad. I don't understand why it's so bad. Like, why did they let this get made? You're a bit further in than me. Does it get any better?
Oh, I mean, I think it continues on. I mean, I think if you didn't like it after the first one, I've only seen 3, but I don't think it's going to turn you around. It does get. I mean, there is more of a story. Like, the more happens, but it's certainly no faster. It's certainly no more compelling. I don't think it's as compelling as the first one was. I don't know. I tried watching, after everyone was raving about it, I tried watching The House on Haunted Hill or whatever the fuck it's called. And I got 10 minutes in and I was like, I cannot stand the tone of this show. I just can't. I just can't stomach it. I can't imagine sitting through a minute more of this and turned it off. So I don't know what that's actually like.
Interesting. I find that tone to be a little bit more similar to Midnight Mass.
Yeah, right. I mean,
like,
I can understand
kind of
that.
overplayed, overacted. Just over,
if you went in the mood for
depth.
it, then for sure. I don't think there's no depth, but I think there's definitely one depth, and it doesn't necessarily rise or fall from that, for sure.
Yeah, maybe that's
and
it.
if you're not in for that, then yeah, definitely it would be a slog. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, my concern more is that, sometimes you'll watch a show and you'll go like, this could go 10 different ways, and I'm fascinated by all of them. I'm kind of like, this could go maybe 2 ways, and I don't give a shit about either of them. So I'm not saying I'm loving it, but I'm just watching it. Don't know.
I wondered, like, because, I like the new priest. He's interesting, an interesting character. But everybody else and everything else just feels kind of, I think I'm with you. Just a bit like, I don't really care. Like, it's a good premise, I think, but it would be a good premise for like a 2-hour, 20-minute film, not a
maybe,
8-part 1 hour series, like 8 hours of this or whatever it is, 6 hours. I don't know, who knows. So
yeah, it sounds like, though, based on previous comments that you said like 10 minutes ago, that this just isn't the sort of thing you were wanting anyway. Like supernatural horror, like, it could be a bit religious, it could be a bit animal, it could be a bit body horror. Like, just not interested in any of that.
I think when it's those things with. Like, that's why I kind of like those other 2 series, because I could kind of, 45 minutes and like I could put it down. And I was like, okay, the thing is evolving over time, as opposed to strap in for 2-hour roller coaster or jump scares.
Yep.
Like, that's too much for me. Whereas I found this stuff to be more magic realism-y as opposed to straight up horror. Like, there is a ghost haunting this house and it's going to kill everyone. And now it's going to but we don't know what's going on. This feels more like there's a mystery. Like, both the others are like trying to work out what's actually happening. Is someone crazy or not? This, though, I thought might have more like, there's weird events. That's interesting. Like, what's actually happening? What's the mystery? It just kind of feels not interesting enough.
I don't know. I think that I think there's more to it than maybe the picture you're painting. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. But I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just, it's not. I don't know that there's nothing going on. It's just, you've got
in a few weeks. Tell me what you think.
Got to be up for it. Hopefully I'll be through by then, yeah, for sure. But I mean, the problem is it'll be just like the ending will be disappointing, and I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. Same as, like I said to you, no spoilers for Squid Game, but I didn't like the ending. I thought it sucked, and it turned me off. It turned me off wanting to recommend it to people. One thing that I've been thinking about, though, is in a post Squid Game world, what would you recommend to someone who's like, I love Squid Game, I wish there was more stuff like that? What would you say? Like, there's this thing, there's that, like that. Actually, the closest thing that I've come up with is actually, I don't know if you've seen this, but Bandersnatch, the the Choose Your Own Adventure,
Black Mirror
episode. That's
Charlie
the closest
Brooker.
thing I can think of that's even close to Squid Game in tone, in approach, in having some kind of a game that's, blah, blah, blah. There's twists and turns. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that's in the same kind of league almost.
Yeah, that was like when that came out, like the interactive nature of it as well was just so interesting and so fun. I'm surprised more stuff hasn't been made like that, especially through lockdown. It could have been like when stuff was kind of going through. It's like, how do we make things happen with content because people are locked inside? But yeah, I mean, anything Charlie Brooker makes is great. Like I don't think he's missed. So more of that stuff, please. I mean, if you want to go down the Korean route, I think that go just go and watch Old Boy, right? That's
Old Boy's
great.
pretty good.
Just go watch Old Boy.
That's got some twists and
Don't talk
turns.
to anybody about it before you watch it. Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many. That's true. Just like that's actually a good thing. If you're just like, I just want to be challenged right now. Just go and put on Old Boy and just watch it all the way through. Don't look it up. Don't watch a trailer. Just don't do anything about it. Just watch it. So anyway, that's.
Oh, and the Korean. Don't
that.
watch the bloody the Joshua Brolin Mini Arms Man version. Watch the original version.
Mini Arms Man. That's amazing. That was all pretty heavy
arms.
stuff. Maybe you're not into scary stuff either. So I've got, again, trying to be like, hey, if you don't want to spend, hours and hours watching something, you just want something nice and easy. And maybe also something that's like not a downer so much. I really like this album by St. Vincent called Daddy's Home, which came out a little while ago. It came out so long ago that she has another one, but that's just because that was the soundtrack to a movie that she made. Daddy's Home was her last sort of proper, I guess, studio album, you'd call it. But yeah, I love that. Are you a St. Vincent fan?
I am. Did Daddy's Home was that the one that had New York on it?
No, that was the previous one.
See, I'm behind.
You are.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know what? That's okay.
Of where she was on what's the music one? The podcast?
Is it Song Exploder?
Yeah.
Haven't heard it.
She was
Let's check
on
it out.
Song Exploder, taking apart.
Did she explode New York?
Yeah.
Cool.
Annie Clark on Song Exploder. It's great. I will send you the link right now before I forget.
Super.
But yeah, St. Vincent's so good. One of the, I was late to that party, really late to that party. We're talking off mic before we started the show that there are some bands or some musicians you just miss, even though they're so close to the kinds of things you're interested in. St. Vincent was like that. And it's funny because you're a big St. Vincent fan. My friend Jason is a massive St. Vincent fan too.
Ah, cool.
And she ticks all the boxes of like, I love, female leads or like, female singers and guitarists together. Like, that package is great. One of my favorite things, especially, did we talk about Made? I think it was one of my last like content recommendations on Netflix about a woman who goes through a domestic abuse situation and kind of grabs a kid and leaves. And it's kind of a story about her moving through the bureaucracy of how to live her life, having broken up or tried to leave her husband. The soundtrack to that show is immense. Just so much good stuff. Like Anna from the North, Haim, just endlessly good like female musicians on that soundtrack. I've just got to go and find a blog post that has all of the music in it because it was so good. So yeah, okay. What's this album called?
Excellent.
I should just go find it.
Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home. Thank you for giving me that. It's not Daddy's Home, the film with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. No.
Ignore that. In fact, avoid that.
Well,
I mean, I think that's a huge bag of content recommendations. It's a huge.
Is this still an F1 podcast?
pile of opinions about Formula One and what they should and shouldn't change, and just the state of things in general. We looked at the Twitter poll. We confirmed that ghosts exist apparently, whether or not drivers have seen them or not. And I think our job's pretty much done. We should probably wrap this baby up. There is a race coming up in Mexico. Yeah. I feel like a running gag for this episode is me not being able to pronounce things, just being unsure. Pronounce things.
You're very pronounced.
I was going to say though that episode. I mean, we're doing a shakedown now. Shakedown's kind of a different thing, but then we're going to be doing a super license episode, which is a race recap. Blah 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 blah. That will be episode number 199, which means the race after that, the big 200,
Brazil.
We're better to have a big anniversary show, Brazil. We'll have to think of some fun Brazilian-themed things to do on that show because it'll be big milestone.
Get Fernando Campos on.
I do remember talking to you. I think it was for either 50 or 100, where I was like, we should sing a song. Pick what song you want to sing. And you were like, yeah, nah, not going to do that. And we never did. So more is the pity. But maybe something not quite as highfalutin or ambitious as that. But yeah, we'll try and think of something cool to do for the 200th episode.
Yeah, wow, we will. What would we do? So many good things. So many good options. Okay, good. You got me. You got me. I'm not going to be able to focus on my job today. I'm just thinking about that.
Your job is to think of something to go into that episode. Okay. Yeah, anyway, coming up, Mexico and then Brazil, our 200th episode. Until then, please, everybody, just enjoy yourself. Please stay chill. I know things are not chill at the moment in the world. Just try and hold it together. Do your best. That's all anyone wants. Get vaccinated if you can. Any other life advice for people, Zach?
Get boosted if you can. Some of you probably can't up for boosters now. Go get boosted.
I reckon there's an obvious tie-in to be done there with Boost Juice. Go in and get a booster and get a free Boost Juice.
King William from Boost Juice. Oh, man, I've been really... After you talked about Palmer's last time, I have been absolutely fucking vibing for some of the Australian chains I miss. Even Sumo Salad, the Caesar salad from Sumo Salad.
Yeah, right.
I'd really love that right now. But no, it just... Oh, some Shuji Sushi. Ooh. But, man.
I don't mind that at all.
But a Boost. Ooh. I think there's one Boost in central London, funnily enough. Maybe I'll go get them.
Wowee. And they fly them over from here to there. That's amazing.
Yeah, and they don't put them in the blender. The plane does all the work for them. By the time they get here, they're all squished up.
They hit turbulence. Yeah. They sort of drive out of their way to go into turbulence to shake everything up.
They fly through the Bermuda Triangle on the way. And then they...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah, look, go and get a Boost Juice, get a booster, and just boost your juice. Boost your juice. There you go. That could be
get
the slogan
fan boost.
I'll talk to Pfizer right now after this. Until then, though, we're going to be, getting ready for Mexico. I'm really excited. There's no more F1 talking to be done this episode, so I'm going to sign off with my customary sign-off, which everybody knows is me saying, till next time, my name's Ben Rod.
And my name's been Zach.
Smooth. We'll see you next time at the Mexico Grand Prix. Bye-bye.
Bye.